Thank you very much for the invitation and the honor to have the closing presentation. I'm Emilio Dávila, head of the ICT standardization sector in DigiConnect. I have been asked to provide a few words about the digital standardization strategy and also about the rolling plan on ICT standardizations that brings together the standardization needs in support of EU actions and legislation. To be honest, most of the things have already been discussed in the several panels. So I wonder why I'm the last one. I should maybe have been the first one, but okay, let's go through it. So, yeah, has there yes, not only about the digital standardization strategy, but also we have adopted last June the EU's international digital strategy. And this was something new, it's a communication where we explain our international digital strategy and in particular the importance of cooperation around the world with different like-minded partners. And this is really relevant in terms of standardization, because if there is something standardization is cooperation. And we have been talking a lot about the importance of cooperation between European standardization organization experts with international ones. And the objectives is boost the European technical competitiveness, promote security for you and partners, and also the third one, shape the global digital governance and standards. So bringing the EU values and governance into the standardization world. If we go to the standardization for EU competitiveness, I think I don't need to say the importance, and we have been discussing about that the whole day. Cost standards enable interoperability, they are good, efficient, and cost reduction, avoid locking, but it's also a tool to promote the competitiveness of European industries and business that using, if we have global standards, we have international standards, then the EU companies, and in particular SMEs, have more facilities to operate internationally. And even internally, much better than if you are relying on a proprietary solution from a big company. And of course, it provides market access through the regulatory compliance. And this is something that we have talked a lot about, the EA Act, the CRA, how having harmonized standards and ensure that you can access to the markets. And this is something that is not only Europe. If you see other regions have already understand that. So the importance of standardization, not only as a technical tool, but also as a geopolitical tool. Then also for technical sovereignty, of course, if we have, again, if Europe is not as powerful in having big platforms that get the whole vertical value chain, but we have a brilliant ecosystems of innovators, in particular in digital, with many SMEs offering solutions. And the open standards, having open standards can provide and give the glue for interoperability solutions, combating this vendor lock-in and including also for European public services. We have seen a lot of what the EBSI can offer, for instance, in these terms. And also cooperation in ecosystems. And let's not forget that Europe is composed by 27 member states, plus all the EA countries. We have big market access. We need this kind of interoperable solution, and we need to promote the technical sovereignty of Europe, not only depending on the outside, what we have seen in particular in this geopolitical context, it may be risky. And also to promote our model and fundamental values. So to promote our competitiveness on the industry, our innovative solutions, but also our fundamental values. And this is something we have also talked about that today. For instance, the issue about compliance with privacy protection in there and standardization. And we are insisting on that in all standardization fora should be aligned with, for instance, human rights and fundamental values. Otherwise, we may have standards developed at international level that may not be implemented in Europe, and this is not over there. So what are the key digital standardization priorities in 2026? This is an extract from the annual Union Work Program that will be published soon. And there in the annual Union Work Program, as you know, the Commission explains what are the major priorities. It doesn't mean that they are only the big one, but the major standardization priorities. If you look at ICT digital standardization topics, this is the one. So, and we have talked about that, and we have seen the importance of making blockchain standardization aligned with these priorities. So artificial intelligence all related to AI, but also beyond. Quantum, this is interesting, interoperability for data protection services. We have talked about that a lot. Quality data for AI innovation, cybersecurity, the digital identity wallet, big topic today. And then, of course, the cookies, machine readable expression, and critical communication network for public security and safety. This is not so much, but it may also have. And of course, there are other priority areas like 6G standardization, internet and virtual walls, or standard for smart cities, cityverse, etc. If we look quickly through it, artificial intelligence is again, okay, we need really the standards for the AI Act. We have some delays there. We have talked about that there, but important thing, and I talked from, for instance, Fiona made it clearly, we need to have this conversation, how AI standards that are being developed now in GTC 21 as answer to the standardization request, another standard developed in the world can also liaise with blockchain standards and provide for the artificial intelligence policy, which of course is the AI. And we see that there are different artificial intelligence activity worldwide. We mentioned agentic AI, and it's important to have some coherence there. Otherwise, it's difficult to code. Quantum, we have a full Quantum Europe strategy, and there, standardizations to support that is important. We have a lot of capabilities in quantum in Europe. And we see a lot of quantum incubators, but now we need also to have a coherent approach and promote it globally. And in particular through standardization. And we have a European quantum standards roadmaps that is expected to be public along the year. We have collaboration with the industry, and it's important because we see that though we have good capabilities in quantum, there is not a lot of contribution to standardization by these researchers. So we are trying to work with European standardization organizations that define pre-standardization incubators and then bringing them into the standardization area. Data protection is serious, so we have talked about that, the importance of defining for all the different data spaces and interoperability the specifications that will be in the repository. And there is a study made by WIC that has been recently published, identify the candidates to be in the repository, and where we find a gap, then there will be a standardization request to the ESOs. It was also said, trust the ESOs. Okay, we trust the ESOs, we will make a standardization request for those one. And this is also, I think, important for the possible cooperation with blockchain and digital ledger technologies. And here you have also the rest of the European Data Union strategy. So this is beyond not only the Article 30 that we have talked about the smart contracts, but also the European Data Union strategy and trusted data space, trustworthy data spaces. And here we have already a standardization request. We are in contact with the ESOs in order to have these standards. Cybersecurity, I think we have talked a lot about that. We have all these 41 European standards. We have seen from the previous panel also the horizontal, but also the verticals, important to be there. And this is, of course, also relevant for all the blockchain standardization activities. And something also important, the collaboration with open source communities. So far, it's working well. We have seen a lot of investment from the experts. We are grateful to that and to the 3 European standardization organizations that are cooperating well. But there is still need of more European experts being active there. Then the wallet, first the EUDI wallet. So this has been done. Here, it doesn't follow the normal standardization request and NLF approach, the new legislative framework, but rather what it was proposed in the regulation in the ADAS 2 is identifying technical specifications. Why? Because there are some specifications from non-formally recognized organizations like W3C, OpenID Foundation that could be relevant for the EUDI wallet. Then there was a roadmap that was done, a full study of what could be done, identifying all the technical specifications, and they will be referenced in implementing Act by colleagues. So full transparency from the program. You have a GitHub with all the analysis of which specifications could be done. And I think you are well aware of that, and I have seen in the discussion that there is a need also to take into consideration all this and how all the different blockchain infrastructures can be based on on the EU ID wallet. Not only that, also the relation, for instance, with digital public passport, this is also something there. So beside that, after that, another important thing that we have talked about is the business wallet. So you see here that, of course, what is clear is that the technical architecture and features will build on the EU wallet. And as you've seen in the other sense, we try to work closely with member states and also with the private sector to define the technical standards and requirements for the European business wallet. So my recommendation here would be, you are working with that, you are already promoting some business wallet there, please contact the colleagues that are in charge of the EID action and explain what are your views and how do you see that this should be developed, because this is the step we are doing now. Then the rolling plan for ICT standardization. These were the major priorities, most of them related to regulation, but of course there are more activities there. And this was a good presentation because we just published in the Interoperable Europe portal yesterday. So you have it freshly edited, the new version of 26. This is very important in the European standardization strategy, and in particular the digital one, because here you list the areas where ICT standardization could support EU policy and objectives. You have the link there. Complements the annual Union Work program that we have talked, that is more related to standardization requests. But this focus on the digital, it has no prioritization, but it lists all the different actions done by topic. What is very important document. So you have there by different chapters, the policy priorities and strategies. So you have the health, you have the AI, what are the main policy documents, the regulatory places in there. The concrete proposed action that we do it in collaboration with the experts from the multi-stakeholder platform on ICT standardization. And there you have all the different stakeholders and major standard development organizations. And then important also the ongoing and available work. So we are talking about how to better cooperate. If you go to the rolling plan, you see which standard development organization is doing what at the national, European, and international level. So it's a good thing to connect the strategy to action and to promote cooperation there. This is the rolling plan 26. So you have the main chapters there: foundational drivers, key enablers, societal challenges, innovation for the digital single market, and sustainable growth. There are in total 260 actions. So it's good that it's digitally produced, because now it was becoming really a brick. But there you can go to the chapters you are interested and have a look up there. There are 3 new chapters: trusted secure chips, internet and trusted media, and some reform. And it's not a surprise, within the chapter 3.3, we have the blockchain and distributed digital ledger technology chapter, and there you can see the different actions that we are proposing. So you see that we are calling both the European standardization organizations, but also the different standard development organizations that are active in blockchain and distributed digital ledger technology to go through all these different actions. And we see related also to the digital area, to the different regulations that we have seen, GDPR, AI Act, Data Act, privacy. So basically, all that we have been discussing is in the rolling plan and is normal, and we are happy that you are looking into that seriously, because this is the idea, that the stakeholders, together with the Standardization Development Organization, look at our priority and convene on common actions to develop the standards that we need to support the policies and regulations. Of course, there are also chapters on fintech. That was, for instance, when I was listening to the previous presentation, I could recognize some of the actions there. So please have a look, but more important than have a look, see whether you can contribute to the different actions of the rolling plan. And also, if you have recommendations from the rolling plan, feel free to contact any of the members of the multi-stakeholder platform on us, the Commission, and bring us your idea. And this is all from my side. Thank you very much. If you have any questions? Fiona has a question.
Can we say that the new rolling plan publication was the St. Patrick's Day release? I think we can. A green rolling plan.
You can say, no, we are trying to improve the rolling plan every year.
Thank you very much for the download. It's great.